So here you can see the revenue calculator, and what we're going to do is we'll use an example ASIN to input the details into it, and then I'll show you kind of the back end there and what it spits out. But you can also use, your own product or another product of choice that you're thinking about selling, so that you can get an idea of sort of the revenue that you generate and the costs involved with that. So we're going to take this protein powder here and hit search. And you can see down below it's going to split the two between Amazon fulfillment and seller fulfilled. So there's many reasons why I'd recommend Amazon fulfillment. You can check out my other video by visiting my channel that goes through all the details on that. But for now, if you look at both of them, it's going to depend on if you decide to leverage Amazon fulfillment versus yours. And here you can see there is a column for the shipping charge for self-fulfilled. So you'll need to fill that in along with any other fulfillment costs or fees that are involved with that. I'm just going to assume that there aren't any storage costs or fulfillment costs aside from what you're paying for the shipping label. So in this case, if you go to, say, USPS, you can calculate the cost there, or use a third-party system to calculate and generate labels, so that you get a good idea of what your fee would be for self-fulfilled, especially if you don't have the item in stock yet. And then, of course, Amazon fulfillment, it will give you the details there for existing ASINs. So you can see the referral fee and then the closing fee, and then they also include storage fees as part of it, and also on top of that, placement service fees. So you're looking at a margin of 64% for FBA. But let's just say that you also have factored in cost of goods sold. So let's say for this particular item, you're paying about $10 per unit. So that's going to bring your net profit and margin to about 38%, or almost $15. So it's great to know that, because then what you can do is you can think about what type of promotions you can run in terms of how far you can make the discount go until you're no longer profitable, or what you're comfortable with discounting at. So in this case, you could even use an example. Say you want to run a sale and you'll do a 20% discount. So that's about $8 there. So what we could actually do is we could put it in here somewhere as a cost and just see how it affects the margin. So you could see here how a 20% discount will affect your margin. Will it help grow sales in the short term? Sure. Is it something that's sustainable? Arguably, yes, for FBA. But again, you want to be careful and make sure that you're not exceeding or losing money on any given unit. So this is a good tool to kind of determine that as well. And then, of course, if you look at the self-fulfillment, you can put the same details in the way you would and calculate your margin. Here it's showing it as higher. I'm not entirely convinced about that. I will say that if you do FBA, as a quick note, you will make more sales as a result of it, and it can be considerable. So definitely consider that. But, it's just a great tool in general to help break out all the costs. Very simple and easy to read and understand. The second tab here is the define product. So if you don't yet have your product or a comparable ASIN that's in stock on Amazon, you can choose to enter the dimensions here. And let's just say we have that, and then the category, the item price, and the shipping charge, and then you can estimate it based off of these details too, and see what your margin looks like. And actually, funny enough, looks like here we're given a negative net margin for whatever reason. So that is a great example. It's only because we have this $8 in here still. Um, and cost of goods sold. Well, if it's still $10, you're losing money. So what's also great about this tool is if you're thinking about selling an item and you have the details such as the cost per unit and the dimensions and the weight, you can determine if it's profitable or not to price it at a certain range. Here, $30 is not given the specs that I entered. So it's a great tool to just determine, okay, well, can I price it higher? Let's just say that maybe the average price is $40 for this item. So in that case, you would end up turning a profit if that were true. But again, you'll have to do your research. You can use helium-10, or you can just eyeball and get a general idea of what the average prices are for similar products, and then price it according to that. And then keep in mind your net profit here is $6. So pricing it any lower than that, $6 less than 40, is going to create a negative profit. So again, another great reason to be using this tool to determine any future products that you might want to put up there and what the costs are associated with it. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything I have for today. I'll leave the link to this in the description so you can review it on your own time. And just keep it in mind, especially when you're running promotions, especially if you're considering selling a product and you're wondering whether or not it would be profitable based on your cost of goods sold, the weight of the product, and how much it costs to ship, as well as any other fulfillment charges that might be incurred if you're using FBA. And, you can really get a good idea of, okay, if I sell, 100 units of this a month, then this is going to be my profit per month. So here you might profit over $600 if you were to sell, say, 100 units of this every month. So it's just a great way to get an idea of where your fall, how successful a product could be, and how to price it appropriately. So that's everything I got for today. If you like this, make sure to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to download my free guide on how to scale your sales on Amazon in the description below. And take care.